Welcome to Emily's Kitchen. I'm Miss Emily. Today we're here for Season 2, Episode 8. Today we're going to be making one of my staple sauce recipes. It's homemade Alfredo. Now I know you can buy Alfredo at the store in a jar, or you can get it at a fancy restaurant, but you're going to pay a lot of money and it's not always the best quality. This one's super easy because there's only a few ingredients and it's really easy to swap out anything. You can use whatever pasta you want, and there's no flour in it, so it's good for gluten-free. You also don't have to make a roux, so that makes it way easier than a lot of other recipes. All right, if you're ready to season Alfredo, let's get into cooking. So to start, we're gonna need a medium-sized saucepan and have it over about a medium heat. We're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of butter or a butter spread and let that get melting. And once that kind of starts to melt a little bit, you'll see it gets a little foamy. You're gonna add in 2 cups of heavy cream. As you can see, this is already different than a lot of recipes because you don't have to make a roux for thickening. It's gonna thicken itself with the cheese. All right, so 2 cups of heavy cream in. Then you're gonna wanna turn this up to about a medium-high and keep an eye on it because you don't want it to boil, but you do want it to bubble. So we're gonna let that warm up, and once we start to see some bubbles, we'll be right back. Okay, now that our heavy cream has officially gotten a little bubbly with the butter, I had to pull mine off to the side because it was starting to try to boil over. So I just have it sitting on a hot pan. It is still gonna be hot enough to melt our cheese, so no worries. Next, we're gonna add in Parmesan cheese. Now, I'm kind of picky about the brand that I use. It's Sartori fresh grated Parmesan. I've tried this with a couple recipes, and honestly, the cheese really does matter because if it's not fresh, it'll have that cornstarch caking mixture and your sauce is gonna get gummy and weird. I like this one because it melts really, really well. So we're gonna go ahead and add about 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. I don't measure this as much because it doesn't matter if you go a little bit over. If you like your sauce a little more cheesy, you can almost go 2 cups worth. So I'm gonna start adding in and just whisking. And this is what's gonna thicken our sauce. And the best part is, these are all the ingredients that you need. Now mine is hot enough, I actually don't need to put it back on the burner, but if your sauce has cooled a little bit, you can put it back on just to help melt your cheese. All right, so 1.5 cups worth is about half this bag, and I think this bag is about 8 ounces. So you're just gonna keep adding a little more and stirring. You don't wanna add it all at once or your sauce will get clumpy. And you'll tell right away if your Parmesan that you're using is fresh because it will melt and make almost like little strings. If it's not and it's kind of clumpy and gummy, you'll know your cheese isn't very fresh. All right, so a little more cheese. Also depends how thick you like your sauce. If you like a little thicker, add a lot more cheese to your liquid. If you'd rather have it thinner, no worries, just go ahead and lighten up on your cheese. All right, so I'd say mine's about good. All right, I'm gonna put it back on the heat just for a little bit of time, just to help it finish melting. Get rid of my trash. And you can see it'll start kind of forming these cheesy threads coming down. And you can see it's already getting thick. So if you need to set this back on low heat for about 2 to 3 minutes until your sauce is finished thickening, that is just fine. Otherwise, if your sauce was hot enough, you could probably serve right from now. I'm gonna let mine thicken just a little bit more, and then we'll talk about pasta. So let's talk about pasta. I'm gonna be using this, I don't know if you say rana. It's a fresh pasta that I get in the refrigerated section at my grocery store. Usually you find it over by the dairy, and it's the fettuccine noodles, but honestly, any of their pasta is good. You can even use their ravioli, anything like that, whatever you wanna use to spice it up. They even have a gluten-free option, not this brand, but they have gluten-free fresh pasta usually in that section too, if you're looking to cut out some gluten. This one is also great because it cooks super fast. So you don't wanna cook this like regular pasta. It's only gonna cook about 2 to 3 minutes in your pot. And then you're gonna wanna take it out and serve it immediately because it does not sit well. It gets kind of gummy really fast. But this is my favorite because it's the best way to recreate like a really good Italian restaurant, but it's also super cheap. Like this bag is maybe $3 worth, and total between making your sauce and cooking your pasta, you're looking at like 10 minutes cook time. So this is a really fast meal to get on the table that tastes like a restaurant. So I have my boiling water. I'm gonna go ahead and add my pasta, and you cannot walk away from this stuff. it will cook so fast. The package will say like 5 to 6 minutes. Don't listen to it. Cook it for maybe 2 to 3. And if you're worried, just test it as you go. So I'm gonna cook this for just about 2 minutes and then I'll drain it and we'll be back. So our noodles cooked for 2 minutes and then I pulled them off and drained them. So now I have them back in my big pot. And then we're gonna take our Alfredo sauce and add it to the noodles right away. This will help make sure it sticks to the noodles really well. We're gonna go ahead and take this and pour it on over. So we'll take and pour our sauce. And it may look like a lot, but really it'll soak it up really well. And then we're just gonna mix this together. And you can see it's already thickened just in the time it was sitting. So then you're gonna wanna serve this right away. As you can see, it's beautiful, it's coating those noodles really well, and it's perfect. But the longer it sits, it will get gummy. So go ahead and serve right away. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Miss Emily's Kitchen. Today we made Alfredo sauce. As always, the recipe will be posted down in the description and eventually added to our website. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.